Okay, hello, my grots and gits. I'm back home. I'm still gonna be a little quiet because the little one is sleeping. But guys, Grotmas is over. Grotmas was amazing. These detachments freaking rock. One thing I've been hearing is a lot of you people, and that's not probably not you guys watching this one, but a lot of the people on the internet are just doomers, and they're crying and moaning because their detachment isn't as good as they wanted it to be. Guys, these detachments are all really exciting. There's a few that maybe just miss the mark, but there's a lot that are not being spoken about right now that people are sleeping on. And I'm going to reveal to you those slept on detachments right now. I'm not going to do like a full review, but I'm going to start talking about some of the combinations and some of the ways that you can activate these detachments to make them sick so that you can start implementing them into your own freaking game. And don't forget, tomorrow night at about, I think, 8 Central European, and that'll be roughly 2 Eastern, we'll be doing a tier list for all the Grotmus detachments, and it's not going to shake out the way you think it is. Guys, I have some controversial takes on some of these. I don't care. It doesn't bother me to be right. Let's get into it. All right, here's the guys. For the reason why I'm making this video, we have had crazy reactions to Grotmus, and honestly, most of all, I blame us YouTubers for how emotionally impacted some people on the internet seem to be about some of these detachments. Almost every single detachment is very usable. There are extreme standouts on both ends that are too good and too low. But even the objectively bad detachments that were released in December, they're made in the context of a codex rewrites. So what you're going to see is that these detachments, which are totally legal with all codexes, are going to suddenly be like, holy crap, that is actually really, really good, where we thought it was bad. So let's take the Votann detachment, for example. I'm not going to go in depth. I'm not going to talk about the Votann in this video. I'm just going to use it as an example right here. That detachment, a lot of people found like it sucked. They're all mistaken. That detachment is actually very good. The thing that sucks about Votann is their army rule. Their army rule is really bad. So what Votann's doing is they are getting an army rewrite when their codex is released. When it happens, when it shows up, that detachment's actually going to be really good. Now, for right now, I understand some Votann players might be a little disappointed because they can't really use that detachment effectively right now. But all of these detachments are actually quite good, and I'm going to start breaking them down for you. Now, there's been a massive focus on allied style detachments, and this is going to dramatically change the way that people play this game, and I freaking love it. These Grotmus detachments were made specifically to give you a new way to play Warhammer. So stop being a doomer and don't listen to YouTubers who are doomers. And there's a caveat on that. There are certain things that do get actually ridiculous that people might complain about, but the vast majority of it is not worth complaining about. Enjoy your game. I am as hyper competitive a player as they come. And guess what? I'm just going to enjoy my freaking game, and I'm going to love these attachments for what they are, which is a brand new way to dramatically play all of your armies that you haven't been able to play in certain ways. So here are some of the hated attachments that absolutely rock and why they rock. Let's go to number 1, Vessels of Wrath. This is the new World Eaters detachment, and I have been hearing doom and gloom all on the internet, and it is just blowing my mind. I do not get it. They're looking at this as a huge downgrade from the current World Eaters because they lose the +1 attack and the +1 strength on the charge. That's crazy that that is the only reason why people don't like this detachment. And to be fair to the people who are making that complaint, that is an average of like a 16% damage drop to the army. I recognize that, and I do recognize that as a blow to the army. But let's think about what you actually get in return. You get 3 units every single turn that are going to get a 3rd Blessing of Corn, which you get to select without having to roll for. Holy crap. This is powerful. And most people are missing this, that even though you can only select the model, say it's a champion, let's say it's a champion for the Berserkers, you get to select that model. The blessing you give him will apply to the whole unit because of the way that the army rule is worded. So just right off the bat, you're going to get 3 units every single turn that are going to get an additional blessing that you are going to choose. So how often do you really need advanced charge on the whole army, guys? Like realistically, how often do you need advanced charge the whole army? Why not roll your blessings and say, you know what? I pretty much only need these 3 units that are charging anyway, so I'm just going to give them advanced charge since I didn't roll it. boom. And then I'm going to select sustained hits and lethal hits. It gives you so many possible combinations that is just absolutely bonkers for how much damage you can actually do in here. It's going to be a little more selective. I understand that, but it is shocking. You can use it for advanced charge, sustain, lethal, fight on death, all these things to increase damage back to baseline. And don't forget, you actually can't choose an epic hero, so Karn the Betrayer or Angron. But what you can do is you can give the Vessel of Wrath to the champion of the unit that Karn is leading. So now suddenly Karn's axe is going to get the +1 strength. It's going to get the +1 AP. And he's going to get to benefit from a guaranteed advance to charge or fight of death or whatever on his unit. This gets strong, very strong. This also opens up brand new ways to play other things. So let's take Terminators, for example. Now, because you can just guarantee that your one Terminator gets the advance to charge that you desperately need, you can start running single units of 10 Terminators. You don't have to run the 3 Terminator army that Dean from Blog for the Blog God made, which, by the way, that list is awesome, and I love it, and mad props to him for it. But previously in the other detachment, you basically had to choose no Terminators or 3 squads. Now you could actually actively play with just one and have it be very, very useful for you. This detachment freaking rocks. It is different, and I'm not saying it's better than the Index detachment, but it is a different detachment that's going to allow you to play in very different ways. You can get the single 10-man Termi. You can play the Foot Demon Prince with Kool-Aid Man. Oh my gosh, it is such an interesting glow up in this army. So Vessels of Wrath, there's a lot here. I'm cooking. There's people in the Discord cooking. If you want to cook with us, join the members only Discord. You can join by becoming a YouTube member or a member at Coffee, and the link is in the description down below. Sign up, become a member, support the channel, and guys, let's cook together. All right, let's go to the second detachment that people are sleeping on. This is the Lion's Blade detachment. Lion's Blade is freaking awesome. People are forgetting about it because it was the second detachment, and it's getting overblown by all the data slate changes because everyone's all like, oh, Ultramarines are the only way to play freaking Space Marines now. No. I got another video coming out that's breaking down all the ways to play Space Marines, and let me just tell you, it is a good time to be a Space Marine enjoyer because there are so many amazing ways to be freaking running your Space Marines right now. And I'm going to break them all down. But let's talk about the Lion's Blade right now. People are so quickly forgetting the insane strats that the Lion's Blade detachment gives you. Samael in this detachment becomes a total pimp. When he actually gets, you're going to give him, he's going to be leading a unit of Outriders. Suddenly they're going to advance and charge, and they're going to move straight through walls. Samael is going to end up getting sustained hits 2 with damage 3 with his weapon. And when he makes that charge, which he's always going to make that charge because he gets to move straight through walls with his biker unit, suddenly that's going to enable the +2 to charge for all the Deathwing units. So suddenly you have Deathwing Knights that are trying to make a charge out of Deep Strike that's supposed to be a 9-inch. Nuh-uh, now it's a 7-inch. This is so strong and it opens up lots of interesting gameplay. And then the Deathwing keyword applies to a lot of units that people just really weren't paying attention to. So when you were looking at the stratagem that would give +1 to wound in shooting to Deathwing units, well, guys, that applies to a Repulsor Executioner. That applies to a Land Raider Redeemer. Strength 6 damage 2 Flamers at AP2 that are, oh wait, +1 to wound anyone? It's brutal how strong some of this stuff gets. +1 to wound to your Redemptors if you want to be running Redemptors. This is awesome. It's an impossible army to move block because if you end your charge phase and you have a unit that happens to be within 6 inches of any Deathwing unit, 2 CP, boom, they've charged you in your turn. They got free movement for a unit that is notoriously slow. So now suddenly the Deathwing Knights get to move up the board, and it doesn't have to be Deathwing Knights, by the way. It can be a Dreadnought Redemptor or Blade Guard Veterans. It can be lots of other things as well. But the army becomes suddenly basically impossible to move block, and the power of being able to say, nope, no move blocks for you is insane in this game. Now, weirdly enough, Lionel Johnson, who also got a huge glow up in the balanced data slate, this guy slaps harder than anyone now. I need to break down the math on him in a different video, but it's stupid. He's so good, but he might not be taken here simply because he doesn't have the keywords. But you know what? You might not even care about the keywords because he's so freaking good. You might run him anyway. Guys, the Lion's Blade detachment has so many combinations of potential for play. Do not sleep on it. I know it's easy to forget and get drawn into all the new shiny things. I'm going to do one more right now, and then I'll have a follow-up video where I've got 3 more for you for these slept-on detachments. And then tomorrow, we're going to be doing the full tier list where I'm going to break down everything for you. We got a special guest who's going to be helping us out with that. So make sure you join in for the live tier list tomorrow where we're going through all the Grotmus detachments. All right, last one for right now. Let's talk about the auxiliary Cadre. This is a detachment that people just hate. Oh my gosh, the spite and the vitriol that people were spitting on the internet at me because I said I liked the detachment. It was bonkers. Let me break down what this detachment actually gives you. I'm going to talk about some of the combinations that this detachment can actually make available for you, okay? First off, this thing is hyper flexible. It basically can do everything that the other detachments do all in one. Only not the entire army will benefit, only one unit at a time will. All right, so let's talk about it. First thing that it solves is the fallback and shooting issue for Tau, because at the end of every fight phase, you can just take one unit that was engaged in fighting, to be fair, which makes it a little hard to activate. But now suddenly these bad boys just get to do a fallback in your at the end of the fight phase, which can be in your turn or it can be in your opponent's turn, which is so darn powerful because you can use this movement to move luck. You can use this movement to steal objectives. You can move. It's shocking what you can do with that bonus movement. It's so darn powerful. Then you're going to have an untargetable chaff, right? So all of your recruit units, you're just going to give them loan up 18 inches. And everyone's saying, oh, it's so hard to have a Tau unit that makes the recruits wholly within 6 of them. Guys, you have loan up Tau units. You have Ghost Kills. You've got Commander Shadowsun. You can just put them out in the middle of nowhere where they can't be targeted, and it doesn't matter if people can see them because they can't be targeted, and they could just be providing 18-inch loan up to all of your recruit units. Can your opponent still shoot them? Of course, but they're going to have to move stupidly close. And the second they move stupidly close, they're going to get brutalized by one of the most slept-on units in the game right now. Gents, Grotz Gits, may I introduce you to the Recruit Rampagers. Recruit Rampagers are amazing, and this detachment enables them because suddenly they only move 7, but they also scout 7. But now they can advance and charge in this detachment. They cause D3 mortals each model on a 4-up at the end of a charge when they charge in. You can also get them full rerolls to hit and wound rolls because you're going to be taking a recruit lone spear, and then you can give them bonus AP, and they're going to take their wound rolls from a strat. This unit will brutalize most things in the game. It is awesome to give Tau a real dedicated melee unit that really will dramatically change the way that your opponent will have to position and have to deal with you. And once this unit is, by the way, getting a, 18-inch aura of you can't target me, damn, it is a challenging thing to deal with. The Rampagers really open this entire thing up, and I freaking love it. People are complaining about, oh, it's hard to deliver the bonus AP that the Recruit will deliver to your opponents. So if you don't know, in this detachment, when you have a Recruit unit or a Vespid unit, to be fair, within 9 inches and visible to an enemy unit, all the Tau units are going to be getting +1 AP against them. That is so easy to make happen. It's kind of crazy. You can send out a unit of Recruit Farstalkers. You can send out a unit of normal Recruit Carnivores. You can send out a unit of Vespid Stingwings. This is so easy to proc. Okay, cool, and your Vespid Stingwings die later. But who cares? Because the entire Tau army will get about +1 AP against a unit that has to die. It is disgusting. You can add +2 strength to your Tau units and +1 AP via the detachment roll. The big problem with Tau is that they historically have very low strength in their shooting outside of your hammerheads. So this is solved now. You can get breachers up to strength 8 and AP 3, I believe it is, with full rerolls to hit and full rerolls to wound. If you are shooting them on an objective. The rerolls to hit, for those of you who are going to at me, yeah, just have a stealth unit marker light them so they get to reroll hit rolls in 1, right? So don't at me on that one. Guys, this thing rocks. You also even have a turn 1 deep strike shenanigans. What I really encourage all of you is if you were disappointed in your detachment, breathe, stop listening to some doom-saying YouTubers out there, and just think for a moment. Look at other units in your army that might be able to fulfill some of the things here. Now, it's true that some of these detachments just straight up are not as good as the one that you have in your index, but also remember, your index detachments are disappearing when your codex is released, and you're getting a whole new slew of detachments. This detachment is going to still be there in addition to all the detachments that you get in your new codex. Think about how that's going to apply, and honestly, just enjoy the game. If there's one thing I think we can all take away from this little Grotmus here is Warhammer's awesome, and we love having new options to play. Wargamers, I love you. Happy crumping. Have a great freaking day. And until next time, I'm out. Bye bye.